Hey friend, welcome back. It's Wit. Today I'm here with another video to help empower and encourage you on your path to purpose. So stay tuned after the intro and let's get into the message. So today is going to be more conversational. I just really wanted to sit down and just talk about what I'm going through, where I've been. I know y'all probably noticed I haven't made a video in a few weeks, and just how God is moving in my life. And I just feel like it's something I could share to encourage others, because this life, y'all know, I think it was my last video when I talked about picking up your cross. Walking in the faith is not always easy, and I know that many people are trying their best to walk on their journey with God, and sometimes it gets discouraging, but I just want you to know, do not give up. Do not give up. So I'm going to share my testimony and just share what's going on. I'm not through the wilderness yet by any means, but I have hope. And I have things that are happening that show me, God is still with me. God is still working. He's moving. I just have to be patient and allow him to continue to grow me through this process. So I just want to encourage you to do the same. So if you're going through something, or, if you're struggling with staying encouraged or staying faithful to God, staying on your journey, and you're wondering when your blessings are going to come and when everything's going to happen for you, stay tuned for this video, and just, stick with me and let me know in the comments, share your story, share your testimony, share what you used. If you hear me talking about anything, share it, in the comments below so I can read it. You might encourage me. I might need it, because I'm always down to have some helpful tips. So anyhow, let's go ahead and get started. So I haven't shared this with you all. I told you all God was telling me to do something big. I didn't explain what, because I really wasn't ready to share it. I really didn't feel ready today either. I haven't felt ready yet because I haven't seen, I haven't reaped the harvest yet. So it's like really hard for me. Sorry, my eyes itching out. But anyways, it was like really hard for me to share it because I don't want to discourage anyone, and I was like, I don't know if I should share it, but God kept putting it on my heart to make a video about it. So here I am. I'm gonna share what's been going on, and just the blessings that have come to just keep me encouraged and give me hope, and just to remind me that God is still with me. So let's see, where do I start? Y'all, okay, so the part that God was telling me to do something that I felt was crazy. I don't know if I should start all the way from the beginning or not, but I'm just gonna start, and I'm gonna try to give you the short version if I can. But anyways, basically in January, I was talking to my patient's mom, and we were just chatting about, I guess, some of the nursing staff, and just she was having a hard time having coverage for her case, or for her child, and I was just saying, look, you don't got to worry about me. I was the full-time nurse on the case, or one of the full-time day shift nurse on the case. So I worked the majority of the day shift. I was a majority of the day shift coverage for that particular case. I worked as a home health nurse, for those of you who don't know, with pediatric patients, patients that had trachs, ventilators, feeding tubes, all those types of things. That's what I did for a living for the last 5 years, I think, 5 or 6. So anyways, so I really loved it. And when she was talking about it, talking about how she was having a hard time since COVID happened. I mean, even before then, nurses were in high demand. And since COVID happened, it's been really rough having staffing for a lot of cases, even the good cases. So my particular case was a really great case. Not to say that all of them aren't, but my particular case, I love the family. It was a really great family. They really cared about their child. They went above and beyond to make sure she was taken care of. And that just makes our job as nurses a lot easier when we have families that are willing to do that. And I've been really blessed for the most part to have cases where the families really were involved and they cared and they wanted to make sure the patient got the best care. So I was very comfortable at that home. So when mom was, kind of talking about what she was going through, trying to get staffing at the time, I was like, well, you don't have to worry about me leaving because I'm not leaving until she no longer needs nursing. So yeah, that instant conviction hit, and I didn't understand why. I just started feeling like I shouldn't have said that. I don't know why. I didn't know why. I was like, I was thinking at the time, like it was probably just one of those never say never moments, where you think you should never say never because you might jinx something. But I don't really believe in jinxing. But I definitely know that if it's not God's will for me to be there and continue to be there, I'm not going to be able to continue to be there. So I shouldn't have said that because I don't know what God is going to tell me to do tomorrow, let alone, months from now. So anyhow, I felt instant conviction, but I didn't think about it too much after that. So anyhow, later on, I started maybe a month later. That was either late December or early January 1. So about a month later, I just started having issues with the job. Not really, I don't want to really say issues because it's not something that you would normally leave a job for. It was just, I lacked peace, put it like that. And every job, no job's perfect. So this isn't me bad mouthing my job or anything like that. No job is perfect, but I just started to lack peace. And a lot of thoughts kept coming to mind, yeah, you're able to provide a pretty good living for you and your children. For those of you who may be new to the channel, I have 3 children, so 3 big children. One who just turned 15. I have a 12-year-old, and then I also have a 9-year-old. So big kids are very expensive. You think diapers and stuff are expensive. Wait till you're trying to buy shoes for a child that's in grown men sizes. 2 children that are in adult sizes now. So anyhow, it's expensive. And then you got clothes and food. Feeding my 2 oldest are boys, so feeding 2 pretty much teenage boys is also very hard. Very expensive. So anyways, I was able to afford a decent living, but I wasn't able to really put up money. I wasn't able to, save as much. And I was blessed to be where I was at, and I was very comfortable because I was able to do the things I like to do, and I was able to provide for us and make sure we had everything that we need and to live comfortably. But that wasn't really future oriented. What can I leave for my children? If I go tomorrow, what will they have? What will be left behind to help take care of them? And it was nothing. I couldn't even, afford to take pay for extra things out, like life insurance, even to make sure they had a pretty good life insurance plan if something were to happen. So it was I'm just kind of living for the moment. And of course we can appreciate the moment and be happy in the moment, but we have to, leave an inheritance. We have to leave something for our children to prepare them for life. And even whenever they get grown, college and all of those things, you want to be able to take care of that. You want to be able to save up for emergencies and all that. I wasn't able to do that. So that kind of started speaking to me. But I still was whatever, I got to do what I got to do. I'll just work harder on my business and hopefully it'll take off. But I wasn't able to really work harder on my business because I was working 12 hours a day, 3 or 4 days out the week. So on the days that I was off, I was exhausted. And even if I wasn't, I still had to do a lot of running around to take care of my kids. Things that I wasn't able to do because I was at work until 7 p.m. and didn't get home until 7:30, 8 p.m. So I wasn't able to take care of everything that I needed to take care of because I was working so much. And I wasn't able to really promote my business. I wasn't able to get out and take pictures and do things I have a luxury picnic and event planning business that I'm in the works on. And I wasn't able to really promote it. I started last year, right before it got cold. It was really just kind of like a soft launch, but I haven't been able to do anything with it even since it was warm. Or when, during the time that it was warm before it got too cold, because I was working so much. So anyhow, it was just like, I couldn't really get ahead. I couldn't really plan for the future. And I mean, all those things were showing up to me, but still, obviously, you're not going to quit your job because of that. So anyhow, long story short, I'm just gonna skip all the other stuff. I prayed over it. I prayed and asked God, hey, God, I'm not feeling at peace about my job anymore. I was comfortable. I loved it. What's going on? Because now I'm just suddenly feeling uneasy. So I just kept praying about it and asking God, is this you telling me that something's off, that there's a shift that needs to happen? What is, going on? So when I prayed that prayer, like immediately I heard God, or I think I heard God, or whatever you want to say. I had a thought that came to my mind that I know was not my thought, y'all. Okay, so I think I've shared in previous videos, I have issues. Like, I like to plan and know and be in control. So I'm not quitting the job unless I have another job in mind, period. So I had this thought that was like, just leave my job. And I was in the shower. I'm like, just leave. Ha ha ha. What? That's funny. So I just like dismissed it, because at first I didn't even think it to be God, or I didn't think it to be, the Holy Spirit prompting me or anything. So I just dismissed it. I'm like, that's a joke. And then the thought came back like, that's not a joke. That wasn't your thought. So I was like, yeah, I know that definitely wasn't my thought, because I don't think about stuff like that. Like, I have a family to take care of. I'm gonna make sure I do what I have to do to take care of them. So anyways, I was like, well, I can't quit my job, God. Like, I'll do whatever you want me to do, but I can't quit my job. Like, I gotta have some kind of income. I can't make sure. And then I instantly felt conviction when I said that, and I was like, like, it was like, you won't do what I tell you to do? I thought you said my will, not yours. All these prayers you're praying, you're asking me to work in your life, to move in your life, and now you're telling me no. So I had conviction. Like, God was like, me and God was kind of having an inner conversation. Like, hey, God, I don't know about that part. I ain't ready yet. So before I even got out the shower, I was like, you know what, God, if you want me to leave my job, I will do it. I will do whatever you say, but I'm going to need some confirmation. So I got confirmation in several ways. I actually seek counsel from a close friend who's on a journey with God as well, and had went through something similar previously. I was also, things just kept being put in my lap when I was studying my Bible. There were things that were speaking to me about it. I would be watching sermons and I just let them play. Like, I'll binge watch sermons all day sometimes. So I'll just let them play on YouTube. And like, the sermons would be talking about taking leaps of faith. And then I even came across some girl's TikTok where she was talking about, God had told her to leave her job and how her life was going and what happened and all that. So I was like, okay, all this confirmation, like, this is happening for months, and I still was on the edge about it. Like, I would feel good when I saw the confirmation. I would be ready to jump. But then as soon as that confirmation, or, a few days passed, and then my nerves are shot and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. I can't do this, God. I can't do this. And right about that time, sorry, I don't know why I keep looking up, but anyways, right about that time, I actually got a message from my job, and I won't go into details about it because I don't want to expose the company business and all that stuff, but basically it was kind of like I was going to either have to lie to stay at my job or to leave my job. So, the whole, if you have to do something to get out, or if you have to do something that's against God to keep it, if you have to sin to keep your job, you're gonna have to sin to keep it. Like, you're gonna have to continue to lie. We already know when you lie to get something, you're gonna have to lie to keep it. Whenever you tell a little white lie, you have to keep lying. You have to keep bringing that up. And I just did not feel comfortable when God had already told me I was gonna leave my job. I didn't understand why. I didn't know when. I was praying about when, and my job sent me this text saying that I basically had until February 28th to either lie or I would be taken off the schedule. Not fired, but just taken off the schedule. So obviously, you know what I did. I allowed them to take me off the schedule. At first, I had some comfort because I would have qualified for unemployment. I would have been able to get assistance. So I was like, well, you know, I have a little bit of help until I can get my business off the ground. Well, God had already I had already said, you know, once I had already felt in my spirit a while ago, like once my patient no longer needed nursing, that I was not going to continue in the nursing field. I already had been speaking that over myself. I just felt it in my spirit that it was the end of this season. I didn't think it was going to be this soon, but I had already felt it in my spirit. So, and then whenever this happened, like God was like, be still. So I'm like, so what do I need to do? So I was gonna apply for unemployment. Actually did apply for unemployment. However, you know, they require you to apply for 3 jobs a week. And of course, I wasn't gonna lie about it. So I applied, but I didn't want to lie saying that I was applying for 3 jobs a week when I was not. And technically I'm still employed, but anyhow, I didn't want to lie and say I was applying for 3 jobs a week, so I didn't get the unemployment. So I had money put up. I was able to use that money to basically take care of our bills and everything, but it started getting low and I was like freaking out and like, God, what are you doing? And it started to feel like just overwhelming. Like I felt, oh goodness, not the hiccups. Y'all, I get hiccups like chronically. I don't know what's up with that, but anyways, y'all give me a second. Okay, I had to do my water upside down thing so I wouldn't be hiccuping on the camera. But anyways, where was I? Oh gosh. So, oh yeah, okay, so the money started getting low. So I started like, what am I gonna do, God? I started feeling like, honestly, I was in the wilderness. And it's ironic because what I'm studying right now, I had just finished Exodus and started Numbers. So it pretty much follows Moses in the wilderness and with the Israelites. It follows them leaving Egypt. You know, it follows, I started whenever I was still at my job. I started, I think I was in Exodus then, and I was reading about how the Egyptians didn't want to free them. The Pharaoh didn't want to free the Israelites, and how the plagues came about, and eventually he freed them, and then they got to the Red Sea. So I literally felt like, I started feeling like that's where I was at. Like this past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, I'd say 2 weeks, I was really feeling like I'm between the Egyptians and the Red Sea. I hope y'all are familiar with this story, but basically in Exodus, it talks about how the Israelites had been freed. The Egyptians set them free and sent them off with gold and everything. Like they didn't go away empty-handed. They were free, and they were right at the Red Sea. They were camped out, you know, chilling, waiting until it was time to move again. Next thing you know, the Egyptians are coming behind them, and the Red Sea is in front of them, so they have nowhere to go. So they were afraid. They thought they were gonna die, and they call out, they're like, what did you do? Why did you bring us out here to die? And of course, God, that was the opportunity for God to bring in a miracle. And that is how, you know, we hear the story about the Red Sea being parted and the Israelites walking across. And when the Egyptians tried to cross, the water came down on them, killing them. So the enemies weren't able to pursue them, and but the Israelites walked through the water, you know, while it was split. on dry land. So it was not only split up, but it was dry. Like they didn't track, they didn't have to go through mud, sludge, none of that. They walked straight across, got there to the other side safely through a miracle of God. And I don't know about y'all, but it's hard. You think you want a miracle, but being in a place to need a miracle is extremely difficult. I was ready to go back. I felt like the Egyptians. I honestly needed to read. I needed to be where I was at in my study because I needed to see that. I needed to realize, okay, yeah, nobody wants to be in a place of a miracle, but that's a place for God to do greatness, to show his true strength, his might, his power, his glory. Like he will get the glory from my story. So, hey, y'all, I should be a rapper. Anyways, my bad. I know that was cheesy, but he can get the glory through this season of my life. And I had to realize that. So that kind of cheered me up. And then I kind of started getting discouraged again. Like I just did not want to do anything with my business. I started feeling fearful because I started realizing that there were other people in my area doing the same thing that I'm doing. And I thought I was the only one when I started. I didn't realize other people were doing it. So that was overwhelming for me. I'm like, should I even keep doing it? I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. I'm just stressed out. And I have a passion for decorating, y'all. I love to decorate. I love to throw like events and stuff like that. Every time me and my friends have an event, pretty much it's usually at my place. I'm usually the one doing the decorations. And one of my other friends, we both love decorating. So I really have a passion for, you know, throwing events, and like I really love it. But at this point I was like just dreading it. I was so fearful, to be honest. Like I was afraid of getting out there and failing. And I hadn't had a lot of clients yet, so I was overwhelmed. Like, you know, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Because where's the business? Even though this is a preparation, like I have to realize I have to be committed to the journey. I have to understand that during this season, just like whenever the Israelites were in the wilderness, there were things that they had to learn. They had to learn how to depend on God. They had to learn to trust God whenever he told them to move. They had to learn to move when he told them to move. And he would provide for them wherever he sent them. So there are so many things that goes into this that I didn't really think about. Like I said, I felt like I had some comforts. I thought I was going to have unemployment, and I thought I was going to have this and that in line already, and I didn't. So, you know, when it didn't happen like I thought it was going to happen, I kind of started panicking. But that's the opportunity for God to really work and show me that it's him. I can't take any credit. I can't give any credit to unemployment. I can't give any credit to anybody but God when he does what he does. So this past week was my son's birthday. And that morning I woke up and I was just it was kind of bittersweet, because I was like, you know, I feel like Paul a lot of times. Like I can be grateful in every situation. Like we're safe, we have a home, we have food, we might not have the best of things, but we're okay. We might not have what we're used to. We might not be able to do the things we're used to doing. But we're okay. We're safe. We're together. We're healthy. And but I still had this just lingering feeling like I can't really do anything for him. And he's turning 15, and I'm not able to really do what I usually do. I had actually even told him I was going to give him some money, and I didn't even have the money that I told him I was going to give him. You know, I had it for bills, but I didn't have it to give to him. So I allowed myself to be vulnerable in a sense. I really didn't prepare to be vulnerable, but my friend actually called and wanted to ask me about studying and things like that. And she remembered that it was his birthday, and she was like, oh yeah, it is his birthday, you know, what are you doing? Are you doing anything? And I normally would have just, you know, said, oh no, we're not going to do it. We're just going to do something small, just played it off. But I was really honest, and I was like, well, I really just don't have it to go, you know, to do anything extra this year. And he said he just wanted money, so I'm just gonna give him the money that he asked for. which I had no clue how I was gonna even do that and be able to do it, but I wanted to, you know, honor my word, of course. So I was just kind of like frustrated because I did want to make the day special. I mean, even though he said he didn't want anything, we all know everybody wants something for their birthday. Everybody wants to feel special for their birthday, even if it's just, you know, a card or, you know, balloons or something. We want to do something, but I really knew that I didn't need to spend anything extra. So she actually offered to buy the food to make his favorite birthday dinner, to buy cupcakes for us. And I mean, I just thought that was really sweet. Like it almost moved me to tears. But I held it together. I was like, you know what? Thank you, God. I knew you would come through. I was okay if, you know, you wanted us to just appreciate what we have for this birthday. But I'm really glad that we can at least make his day special in some kind of way, spending it together as a family. And I also, you know, I made a picnic at home because use what you have. I'm good at doing that. I'm good at setting up picnics. I have all the stuff for it. So let's make this day special. Let's make a special dinner. He doesn't like to go out to the park and all that. So we did it at home. And anyways, then another friend had asked me, you know, what we were doing. And I was like, well, we're not going to do anything much. I'm just going to make his favorite dinner because, you know, I'm on a budget right now. And this friend sent money as well. And next thing you know, this boy almost had $500 like in a day. Like just God, just moving, you know. I know that's probably doesn't seem like a lot to anybody, but whenever you expected literally nothing to have for him and he ends up with, when your family, like it was other, not just 500 from them too, but it ended up being 500 from friends and family collectively coming together and just giving, and it added up to that much. This is without us having a party, without us inviting anybody out or doing anything major. Like people actually sent stuff, and that's normally that normally doesn't happen. Like usually I'm the one that gets stuff for my kids and I'm the only one. And this year, like God made a way for my son to have a really great birthday and to be able to get the things that he really wanted to get for his birthday. And I was just so grateful for that, because it's a horrible feeling to, you know, as a mom, to feel like you can't do what you said you would do for your child. So anyways, that was such a blessing. And my other friend ended up buying us groceries. You know, it was just amazing that God came through in that way for us. And we would have been okay, of course, you know, yes, but it just would not have been the same. And it just shows, you know, that God can work through people when you're willing to be vulnerable. And on top of that, like my business, it has picked up. I've gotten people, you know, reaching out. My page is growing. Everything, you know, I've gotten people asking me about YouTube. I'm getting all these different ideas, and it's like my mind is just like, God is like throwing idea, and then there's money coming in from other ways. I'm not ready to talk about that yet, but a stream of income that I didn't even expect, God has opened up. So I'm like, okay, God, because every time, like y'all, I'm telling you, I have thought, I'm like, God, did I make the wrong decision? Like, and he would come back and confirm, no, you need to be still. He would come back every single time and tell me to wait on him. And I would pray about it. And every time, focus on your focus. You know, basically God would tell me each time I would pray to focus on him and to focus on my YouTube channel and focus on my business right now and focus on my family right now, to use this time that I have to rest. This extra time that I have to get a routine together for me and my family to be healthier. Y'all know I talk about going to the gym on the last few videos. We've gotten a lot healthier. I've been trying to cut back on sugar in our household and increase protein and vegetables and things like that we need to be healthier. We've been at the gym pretty much 5-6 days a week. So everything is really coming together. My schedule, everything is coming together. It was just the finances part, but it's really a time it has been really something that taught me that I can trust in God. And that's not the only thing that has happened. Like y'all, when we lived at our old house, We lived in another state. We lived in Georgia, and we live in Tennessee now. So I don't think I shared this with you all, but yeah, I definitely didn't share this with you all. So anyways, we lived in Georgia like 2 years ago. Okay. So like, this is for real a miracle. So one day, I didn't have any money. Like, we were out of groceries. We were down to a box of noodles and probably like some sandwich and sandwich meat, you know, stuff like that, like struggle foods. Like, if you ever lived in a struggle, you know how it is. I probably had a few bucks to go buy some little Vienna sausages or whatever, you know, to struggle through, bologna sandwiches and all that. Like, I lived in the struggle. I grew up in it, so I'm not against it. I was like, I didn't call or, you know, complain to anybody. I was like, hey, if we got to struggle through, I know God's going to bring me through this moment. So anyways, that night, you know, I was like, we going to eat whatever we got to eat tonight. It's not a big deal. We had a few things in the freezer that weren't thawed out. So I was like, every man for himself. Whatever you find in there that you want to eat it. So anyways, that night, literally, y'all, like that night, the night that everything was gone, I had cooked our last little meal that was thawed out and everything that would be easy to cook. We come home, and in the mailbox there is a envelope with my child's name on it. I'm like, what is this? And I noticed it was forwarded from our old address, the address that we lived at 2 years ago. And it was, or almost 2 years ago, it was a pandemic EBT card from where my kids were receiving free and reduced lunch during the year, I guess during COVID, whenever they were out of school and they were receiving it. I never did get a PEBT card. I never called them to check on it or anything because we were fine. We had food in the house. My mom was actually living with me at the time, and she was buying groceries. So we had plenty of food and the bills were paid. So I wasn't worried about it. I didn't call or anything to check on it. Like, almost 2 years later, y'all, this card comes in the mail with my child's name on it, and it had $400 worth of food stamps on there. And I know, yeah, some of y'all might be too good for food stamps, but let me tell you, when you ain't got nothing but noodles and bologna in your refrigerator, like, you're gonna eat whatever you're gonna be grateful. I mean, shoot, I'd be grateful anytime for some free food. I don't know about y'all, but I will pull it out gladly. If I got it, give me some, whatever. But I hadn't qualified for them in a long time, and I was okay with that because I could afford food. But I was so grateful. Like, it was like a miracle. And then on top of that, I not only got one, but I got three. So they didn't all come at once. Like, they kind of came staggered. And because of that, I was able to use that to basically buy us food throughout this time. So it was like right on time. Like, we have to trust. And that's what I was going to say. The main thing that I want you to take from this testimony, this little story time or whatever. Sometimes we don't understand the situation. Sometimes God is preparing things behind the scenes. I could have flipped out and been calling those people whenever I didn't receive my PEBT back then, and, you know, and been upset because I didn't get it. But I waited and I didn't worry about it because we were taken care of, and God had that lined up later on for a time that we actually would need it. I was so grateful for that, you know, and there's a lot of things that come into place that I don't realize, you know. Like I said, I didn't know what I was going to do for my son's birthday, and I didn't even have to do anything because God made a way. God will provide a miracle. God will make a way out of no way. There was also a few weeks ago, my money was running low, and I'm still waiting on my divorce to be finalized. So the child support order hasn't gone through, and they basically told my children's dad to not pay anything until it goes through. So he was trying to wait on it to go through before he paid. But he ended up making a payment through child support that basically sustained us. You know, he didn't know what was going on or anything, of course. But he just made a payment just because it had been a while since he paid anything, and it was taking a while for them to get back in contact with us about our divorce. So he just went on ahead and paid it. and it ended up coming right on time. And it's like, and I also during those times, and I don't really even like sharing a lot of that, but during those times, it was times where God had said, you know, hey, give. And I was like, God, I don't really have anything to give right now. But he told me to give, and I did. You know, whatever I asked him, how much, God? Like, you know, I know if God tells me to give, there has not been one time when God has put it on my heart to give and I wasn't taken care of. Even if it was my last, even if it was, you know, most of what I had, every single time God makes a way. So I've learned just to trust when God tells me to give, because somebody might be in need in that moment, and God can provide for me another day, but somebody might be in need for that moment, and me being obedient and giving can bless them and can help them, further them, and get them along until their next need or whatever. So when God tells me to give, I try to be obedient to that. I'm not sitting here saying sometimes it ain't a struggle, because sometimes it is really a struggle, especially if it's a large amount and I know I don't have that much. I can battle with God with that, but I try, when God tells me to give, I try to give, and every time it has paid off. So I just want to tell you, don't feel like you have to hold on to every penny. Don't feel like if you're in a wilderness season that God has forgotten about you. He has not forgotten about you. Sometimes we go through these trials and tribulations so that things can be removed off of us, bad habits. You know, like I said, you know, previously, I needed to learn stewardship. This has been a time for me to learn how to budget better. This has been time for me to learn not only how to budget my money, but budget my time better. So this is something that I'm learning to do in this period. Whenever I start working, I want to be able to manage my time well. I don't want to be late to set up people's events and all of that. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I am one of those people that's always late, but I have been doing better about that because I'm learning to manage my time better in this season. And there's a lot of things that God is teaching me in this season. And if you're in a wilderness season, don't give up. Don't, just because things look hopeless, just because things, you know, aren't going the way you thought they should go, you still have to trust in God. And the main verse that has been keeping me going is Galatians 6:9. Do not grow weary of doing good, for in time you will reap a harvest of blessing if you don't give up. So I probably combined several translations. Y'all know I like to read a few of them. But anyways, yeah, I will put it on the screen for you, but don't give up. Do not give up, because God is working. If you keep doing good and you're trying to work towards what He has called you to do, and you're trying to be obedient. I know we don't always get it right, but if you're doing your very best, God is going to see you and He's going to take care of you, but you have to trust Him. There was another scripture I wanted to share with you all too that has been speaking to me. I don't remember this one as well, so I'm just going to read it from my Bible. It says, therefore, my beloved brothers, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labor is not in vain. And that is in 1 Corinthians 15:58. So just know, don't give up. Your labor is not in vain. Whenever we're working for God, He doesn't always do things on our time, but He always comes through, and it's always on time. He will make sure you're taken care of. He will provide for you, and you will learn to trust Him more and more. You can't ask God for a miracle and not expect to be put in a position to need a miracle. So just keep trusting Him. Keep having faith. Keep going. Keep working your butt off. You know, not saying don't rest. Not saying you got to live in this hustle culture that we live in today. Not saying that. I'm just saying focus on God. Stay at His feet. He will give you direction about what your next step should be. He will tell you when you need to be still. He will tell you when you need to focus on Him. And that's all the time, to be focused on Him. But anyways, He will tell you when you need to focus more on Him. And take that and listen and be obedient to that, and just trust that He will do what He's supposed to do. He will be God. We're not here to be our own gods. We're not here to do everything for ourselves. We're not meant to do everything alone, no matter what culture may tell us. You know, we're so independent. We walk on our own. You know, we're our own God. We're not called to be our own God. We have a God. We are blessed to have a Father in heaven who loves us and cares about us and calls us His. He will take care of us. We just have to keep trusting in Him. He will do what he is going to do, but we have to allow him to be God. And I honestly felt like I had to share this with you all before I could even go any further. You know, like I said, I believe in the beginning, I didn't want to share this because I haven't seen the glory yet. But if I came on here and just told y'all all about it after the glory, I wouldn't really see exactly what I'm going through. Y'all would just hear all the good stuff and focus on that. But no, like, this is a struggle. Like, you know, I know this is not just for me. This is not just about me. I have to push through because whatever I learn in this season, I can use to help others. And my story can be a testimony to others. And when y'all see the new story, when y'all see what God does in my life, y'all will be encouraged. Y'all will have the before and the after video. So I just wanted to come on here and share it despite not seeing the full picture yet, despite not knowing what's happening next, despite not even, to be honest, I don't even know what God is going to use in this season. I don't know if it's going to be my business. I don't know if it's going to be the YouTube channel. I don't know what it's going to be that he uses. It might be something totally different. I know God will put your name in rooms and you won't even be aware. People will believe in you and you won't even believe in yourself. God will make your name, God will honor you. You know, he will bring glory to his name through you. So it's not about us. It's not about what we deserve. It's not about what we earned and who we are. It's about who he is. So we have to focus on that and know that whatever he has called us to do, he is anointing us to do it, and we do it through his grace. So if you're counting on yourself to do it, that's not going to work anyways, because God doesn't get the glory on things that you do on your own. That's only going to bring you glory, but he wants to get the glory. So it has to be something that you wouldn't have been able to do. It has to be something that shows favor on your life. It has to be something that brings glory to the kingdom and benefits the kingdom, not just you and your kingdom and your empire. Like, it has to benefit God and, you know, the full kingdom, all of his children. So anyways, I hope this has really encouraged you. I'm so thankful that you stayed to the end. I pray that, you know, this touched your life and blessed you. Please don't forget, if you like this video, make sure you share it, like it, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, turn on the notification bell so you know when I post a new one. Sorry it's been a few weeks, but I had to let God deal with me, y'all. So I had to make sure I was staying in my word and staying focused so I can get ready to pour out on y'all. But anyways, I love you all. Have a blessed night. See you soon.